Philippe, thanks for doing this. How did your move come about to come to Newcastle?
Well, after the World Cup in '94, I was back in training with Anderlecht in Belgium, but Anderlecht received an offer from Newcastle because Kevin was at the World Cup as a pundit, I think, and he saw one or two of the Belgian national team games against Holland and Germany, I think, where I managed to score, and he made an offer to Anderlecht around the beginning of August. Then I take a plane to discuss, because Anderlecht agree the fee, and in a few hours I was in Leeds to talk to Kevin and Terry Mack, because they didn't want to see us in Newcastle because of the press and the fans and everything. So we had how do you say
like a
contact in Leeds.
Yeah.
I flew to Leeds, and we talked about 2 hours about the way he wanted to play football, the way he wanted to do Newcastle the way he wanted to, and I agreed to move on a 4-year deal. So it was very very special, but it was a deal quick done.
What was your first impressions of Kevin and Terry?
Well, first when I received when somebody said to me, "You have to meet Kevin Keegan and Terry McDermott," I didn't believe, because when I was a kid, I used to watch Liverpool, the great Liverpool side, on European days, and Kevin was a fantastic player, Terry Mack also, of course, and so I was very impressed by not only by the human being, Kevin Keegan, but by the football player he was, but the charisma, when you talk to him, it's like being in front of a superstar, really, at the time, and he was a superstar. So I was very impressed, and the way he wanted Newcastle to play football was exactly the way I wanted to play football. So we had a very good relation from the start.
Tell us your first impressions about the training ground and the facilities, and about St James's Park, the stadium.
Yeah. But first, when I arrived in '94, we used to train in Durham.
Maiden Castle.
Maiden Castle, in Durham. And when the kids were not at school, they came with the parents, the grandparents, and sometimes 4,000, 5,000, or 6,000 people to watch the training. Can you imagine? It was unbelievable at the time, and Kevin was very strict about it. He wanted us to train very hard, to show some good football, to the fans, and after the training, it was always the same. Players don't go in without signing everything, and sometimes it took us maybe 60, 90, 2 hours, 60 or 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours before we went in for a shower. I've never experienced something like this, So many fans during a training session. It was unbelievable. And St James is I remember my first game there. We started away at Leicester. We won 3-1. And we had 2 home games after that first game, and we played Southampton and Coventry, I think. and the atmosphere was absolutely unbelievable. 36,000 at the time. It looks like they were 80 or 90,000. We won those two games, the first two home games, 4-0 and 5-1 again, I think, against Coventry and Southampton. And it was absolutely great for everybody. For me, especially because in Belgium, I played for the best clubs in Belgium, but between 15 and 22, 23,000.
Yeah.
Came to the ground. So it was very, very special for me, and I've enjoyed every second of it, really.
The training sessions, a lot of the lads have said they were enjoyable. There wasn't tactics as such. You just played football. Was that good for you?
Yeah, it was very hard physically as well. But respect for Kevin and Terry, because they were part of it. They train with us every day, and you can only have one thing for people like this. So it's respect. I remember training sessions, sometimes 2 hours and 30 minutes, because Kevin didn't want to train twice, morning and afternoon. So it was very long session in the morning. But Kevin and Terry, they were with us, from the start, which was something very, very special for me as well, because I've never seen anything like this in my career before.
What did you make of the local boys, the likes of Steve Howie, Steve Watson, Lee Clark? Because a lot of people go on about Manchester United's class of '92, Beckham, Giggs, and Scholes, but we had our own, didn't we?
Of course. Some young players, like you've said, with great mentality and qualities as well. Steve Howie was a very, very good defender. He can play football. He can use the ball very well. Lee Clark was a very, very good midfielder. Steve Watson can play in every position, really. Robbie Elliott as well. Can play left back or central defender. No, honestly, I've got great memories about the young lads who were at Newcastle at the time, because they were very important for the rest of the squad.
Who was your closest friend in the dressing room?
Well, when I signed in '94, Mark Ottiger joined the club as well. So he was a good friend of mine. But I was friend with everybody, But Mark was very, very good to me, because he was there 2 or 3 weeks before me. He used to drive as well, which was new for me, driving on the left. In England, in Belgium, you drive on the right, so it's very, very complicated. It's very difficult. So Mark, I was very good with Mark. Mark was very good to me with my English as well, because he knew all the lads. So it was very easy for me to get involved in football, in the life of football in Newcastle, but in the real life as well, Mark was one of my closest friends at the time. He left after 2 years, unfortunately. But afterwards, I used to get on very, very well with everybody, in Newcastle.
Do you have a favourite game from that period, Philippe? Is there a game for you that stands out?
I've got lots of games. At the time, we were the best team in England with Manchester United. The likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. They were in the top 6 or top 8. City even went down one season. So at the time, there were two big teams in England. It was Man U and Newcastle. Plenty of games, of course. My first double. We won at home 3-1 against Leicester, and I scored 2 goals. I scored 2 goals away at Main Road as well. And of course, one of the game that most of Newcastle fans remember. It's the win at home was against Manchester United, 5-0. And I was very lucky to score. Well, I was very lucky to score the fifth one, which still is in the Newcastle's fan mind, and I can see I can see those goals. Not only my goals, but I mean every goals from that game. They were absolutely superb. So, but it's difficult to pick one. But if I have to pick one, it's of course the 5-0 against Man U at home.
What went through your mind as you surged forward? And did you just see Schmeichel off his line and think, I'm going to have a go here?
No, I knew because I knew by watching Man U on TV, having played them a few times, I knew that Schmeichel used to come off his line to reduce the angle. So when I run on the pitch, my last control of the ball, I knew he was off his line. So I've had the choice. Try to hit the ball very, very hard and try to score or chip, and fortunately for me, it went in. And voilà, that's a great goal, of course, especially for a defender. But that's not new it wasn't new for me, I used to score some cracker really during my career, but this one is very special because it was against the best team in England and probably in Europe at the time.
The question I'm asking everybody is, that season we didn't win the league, Philippe. Why do you think we didn't win it?
Well, we didn't lose it. It's Man U who won it.
Yeah.
I remember we had the best offensive record. We had the second best defensive record. The problem is that game at St. James is in March '96. I can still talk about it for 4 hours. If it's 3 or 4-0 at half time, for us, that's the normal score. We had against us the best goalkeeper in the world. He made some tremendous saves during that first half. Without Schmeichel, it was 3 or 4-0 for us, and we would have been champion. The other problem was the suspension of Eric Cantona. He came back in November from a suspension, and he scored some very, very important goals for Man U, who went on to win 11 or 12 on straight wins. That's the problem, and Man U managed to win those games. We didn't. I remember Joe at Nottingham Forest as well. We should have won. We were winning 1-0 at Blackburn, where we lost 2-1. But the crucial point was March '96, where at halftime, without Schmeichel, it was 3-0 for us, and we would have won the league. But unfortunately, we didn't do it, and I still have some regrets. Still now I'm 57. And we went very, very close, but at the end, Man U finally deserved to win the league that season.
Who was the best player that you played with in your time at Newcastle?
Well, Peter Beardsley was absolutely amazing. Fantastic player, fantastic mentality. But David Ginola was a superstar as well, was a crack. Alan Shearer was a fantastic goal scorer. Can you imagine? Tino Asprilla went on to play for Newcastle as well. Les Ferdinand, we had some fantastic players, and but it was all about because of Kevin. All those players, myself as well. We signed for because I didn't knew the area. I didn't knew the mentality, the fantastic mentality of the people who lives in the northeast. But with Kevin being the manager of Newcastle, you knew that you would go straight into a team that played that would have played the first roles, the first places in the league. And but I've spent the best 5 years of my life it was in Newcastle, and not only football-wise.
Yeah.
Not only football-wise. Honestly, it's a region of England where people are just fantastic.
How did you feel when Kevin decided to leave the club?
Well, I think everybody was very surprised because I think the last game under Kevin was a win against Tottenham 7-0 or 7-1, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if my memory is right or not, but I think it was a win. I'm pretty sure.
It was.
And nobody saw that coming. Kevin leaving the club after 4 or 5 years. It was very surprising, but we had to accept it because it was his choice. So we had to respect his decision.
And how disappointed were you to leave the club? It sounds as if you had a wonderful, wonderful time here.
Oh, well, I had a wonderful time, but when things goes wrong with the manager, and you don't have any chance of playing another game for the club you love, you have to take your decision, and I was very, very disappointed to leave. To leave one of the best clubs in the world, but on the other side, I was lucky to play 5 years for Newcastle, and that's the most important for me.
Philippe Albert, thanks very much for your time.
No problem. Thanks very much to you as well.
Take care, mate.